Hey Aquarius, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to I'm going to say general messages for the 25th to the 30th, but I'm going to be talking about the full moon and the fixed sign of Scorpio at the same time. So I'm going to start the reading off with that. I'm going to talk about what it is, how it's going to be impacting you. Then we're going to go into relationship and then money and career. I'm going to timestamp for relationship and money and career in the description box below. So if you don't want to hang out for the whole thing, you could just pop around to whichever section of the reading you might want a little bit of guidance on. All right, so let's talk about this. April 26th. Things are getting pretty intense because the lunar climax of Taurus season happens to be the first supermoon of the year. This is also known as the pink moon, and she is not playing around, right? And this is, again, hitting on the 26th, full moon in the fixed sign of Scorpio. So this is going to make our deepest secrets and vulnerabilities unavoidable, helping us to face the truth, our truth, as well as our own power. And this is going to be hard-hitting energy. So we're going to see how this is going to impact you guys, right? You guys always say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Now, full moons, as they do, tend to illuminate situations for us. You guys are going to be having this happen in your 10th house of career, public reputation, your standing in the world. But Scorpio is a sign that values privacy. So right now, you may not be inclined to share your emotional epiphanies, these realizations, these heartfelt realizations with other people, the outside world, especially surrounding anything having to do with your career as well as your home, right? Because it works, the 10th house and the 4th house work together, okay? Which is okay. It's okay. Do whatever you need to do to protect your energy right now, because I do feel like you're going to be working something out in this area. And anyway, besides the full moon sitting in the 10th opposition to the sun, it's also forming a confrontational opposition to Uranus. And this face-off could bring about some sudden realizations, right? Uranus, again, is going to be, for you guys, in that 4th house. It's the 4th house of home. Feeling at home in something, right? So this can manifest several different ways, and we're going to talk about it. But just dealing with that tension on top of the full moon energy might be a challenge, very emotional time, but it could also inspire you to think of things from a new perspective to help you finally figure something out that you've been struggling with. So you want to use this powerful energy to your ultimate advantage here, and look at everything as whatever comes up right now, glass half full, not empty, okay? Even if it's going to feel very uncomfortable for you to go through something, ultimately on the other side of it, it's going to be a good thing, because Scorpio is all about dealing with the past, digging things up. It has to do with karma. It has to do with rumination. It has to do with there's a lot of negativity on the other side of this, but you're going to be releasing it, so which is really good, okay? So having this energy in these houses, your work life is going to take center stage under this full moon, Aquarius. It just is. And you may be reaching a meaningful turning point in your career. If you're not working, if you're still in school, you might be reaching this epiphany point, right, in your studies. If you're still in school, you may be realizing, but there's something having to do with where you're going on your path, and it's a good time to let go of any sort of like draining side gig to make room for a new endeavor or bring a professional project to its conclusion in this energy. Great energy for that. This may also bring, we got the 11th house, which is you guys. I love it. This may also bring some unexpected attention from higher ups, people who maybe are just further along in whatever area you're in, right? So you'll be ready to steal the spotlight and really show off your talents, though, but on a dime. Make sure you're ready to do it quickly. You guys should be able to do that, because you guys are ruled by Uranus. Uranus is about sudden, right? Sudden changes, sudden, all of this sudden stuff. At the same time, there may be something sudden happening with your home, having to do with homes. You may suddenly move. You may something sudden or shocking might happen surrounding the idea of home. So this could be purchasing a home, selling a home, somebody moving in, somebody moving out, last minute move somewhere. Because it's also, the sun is also, it's with Uranus, but it's also hanging out in that 4th house with Mercury and Venus as well. So it's going to be a lot of energy, right, having to do with the home, quick, because Mercury is very quick moving. Venus, right? Venus is the trifecta. It has to do with, love, feeling good about being in something. It does have to do with money. So when Venus is in the 4th house, and I'm just feeling like you might be doing things from home, that are going to end up being very good for the trajectory of your path in the area of work that you weren't even seeing coming. You didn't see this coming. Now, this energy is squaring Saturn in you, in Aquarius, in your first house of self. So just understand that the tension that we experience in a square is entirely necessary in order for us to do anything, right? If we never felt a square energy, we wouldn't do a flipping thing. Why? Isn't it more comfortable to, like, if things were just comfortable and there was no tension, why change it? It's only when we start to feel like a little closed in, or something's like not really like suiting us the right way, or something like that, we start to feel that tension, and we need that in order to make changes. And that's going to be squaring this at this house of career, public reputation, standing in the world. So some of you may be looking at your career square in the face. Some of you might even be looking at your marriage square in the face. I mean, 10th house can also represent the institution of marriage, how it is that you're known out in the world. All right, so let's just pull a couple of energies. Look at this. We get the 4th house. Yes, right? This is where the Sun, Uranus, Mercury, and Venus are going to be hanging out. It's all about roots. Oh my gosh, and look at that. Will you look at that? We get the 10th house. Yes, I love when the cards line up like that. Beautiful. So these two are looking at each other. It's 4th house and 10th house. Your roots and your reputation. They're kind of looking at each other across the wheel here. Let's see what else we have. The answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. And I love this because we also have the North Node in Gemini right now. It's all about Gemini's teaching everybody a lot of lessons right now. The answers you need are coming in. Really good. There's movement here, my friends. Look at that. We got the Chariot. So I like this. This is swift progress and change, determination, victory, away from toxicity, though, and towards what is meant to be. That's like your metaphorical home. So if this has to do with career, quick changes and progress in a business situation, pushing it forward, or bringing something to fruition, whichever it is going to be really exciting. This is going to bring positive news to finances. You're going to have to work really hard, but it's ultimately going to be a good thing for you. If this has to do with relationship, right? Because we have to look at all the different sides of this, right? Because these are general messages. A relationship situation is expedited, okay? So you could be moving away from something negative towards something positive. If you're in something that's very negative, then the relationship is likely going to end because it's not ultimately good for you. And you're going to know if you are not in a very healthy space. You're going to know. We always kind of want to look at the energy, surrounding it. So we have the 3 of Wands next, which is about delays and lack of planning and some sort of setback, no foresight. So this doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. The fact that it's reversed just highlights to us that we need to look at something, as this is one of the good energy cards, a good fortune cards, and it is about moving forward. It doesn't mean that you're not going to move forward. It just means that there's going to be some sort of delay, right? And the delay could be because of lack of planning even on somebody else's part. It doesn't necessarily have to be on your part, but it just means a little snafu in the plans, but it's still going to work for you. Then we have the beautiful 8 of Pentacles. This is a really good energy because this is about just a very logical and diligent approach to work, to a mental, physical, or emotional connection, right, within relationship. It's a very responsible energy. It really is. And 8, we like 8. 8 is the number of mastery. So it's like trying to figure something out. So figuring out some sort of situation surrounding home, surrounding relationships, surrounding career. There's some sort, but I like it because you're figuring it out. That's what we do when we master something. Doesn't mean it's comfortable. It's kind of frustrating, actually, but you figure it out, you master it. Now we have the 6 of Wands is this final outcome energy, right? Which is about you might be feeling a little low in the confidence area. You want to be careful. And it might be because you tried really hard at something and it didn't go the way that you really wanted to. So in a sense, you're like, whatever, I give up. So some of you may be in that space having to do with relationship or something within career, right? Because, feeling at home in something, feeling at home in a relationship, feeling at home in something. Oh, I thought that was the right thing. I went after that and that didn't go well. The hell with all of it, that kind of thing. And you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that in relationship. Just because a relationship didn't work out doesn't mean that that's going to define all of your relationships moving forward. And even if you're trying to figure out what is the right thing for a relationship for me, sometimes you need to actually get back out there and get back into relationship in order to figure out what it is that you didn't realize that you needed. Does that make sense? That's what I'm feeling here. So definitely this 4th house, 10th house energy, the answers are coming, full moon in Gemini. So let's just look at the dice real quick. We have Aries and we have the South Node, which is Sagittarius, so releasing something. And with the 11th house, which is you, this is your home. You guys are the landlord of the 11th house of goals and gains, the energy of the humanitarian. All about the future, right? This is about, you're very focused on the future, having a fresh path, a new perspective while you release something. Because the South Node's in Sagittarius. If you know your chart, look and see where Sagittarius is hanging out in your chart, whatever house and whatever goes on in that house. That's where you're going to be releasing and sacrificing something up until January, until the nodal energies change over to Scorpio and Taurus. Right now, they're in Sagittarius and Gemini, but the South Node is in Sag. And this is all about the need to release something, but specifically release something that you believe to be true. Something that you said, no, this is what I need, or I need to do this, or something like that. So don't be surprised if there's a shift in your perspective surrounding what it is that you want to do. If for your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, don't be surprised if suddenly you're like, wow, where I'm going is way different than I thought I'd be going last year at this time, right? And that's always a good way to put things in perspective. Look back a year and say, what was life like back then? You know, what was going on then? Okay, my friends, that is what I have for you for the full moon in Scorpio energy. Let's move forward to relationship. So let's pull a couple of healing oracles. Relationship. Sexual arts, temptation. Hello, Aquarius. What's happening? Okay. Sexual arts is probably not what you think it is. Let me before we go anywhere, it's like, what do you mean by that? What is the art of sexuality is really being completely at one and at peace with yourself and being very comfortable with your body and not allowing any sort of inhibitions to get in your way. That is technically considered an art, an art form. It's something that we learn to hone. It's something that some of us may have a natural ability to do, but it's very common that we don't, that we have to learn how to really fully embrace and accept our bodies and who we are inside in order to express that in the physical form. And it's very difficult if we're not fully comfortable with ourselves and comfortable in our own skin to be completely sharing and at one with someone when we are intimate. And so this goes way beyond the act of sex. It really has more to do with being very honest about how you feel about you and the core and your core, your inner soul. And it's that soul that you end up sharing, right, when there's intimacy. So it really is more about that. It's less about like the actual act of, right? The act of is the act of. It just is what it is, right? But I'm looking at the temptation energy, but the sexual arts really is about when we feel at one with someone in an intimate realm, it's like we're allowing ourselves to feel small, pink, and scared, right? We're allowing ourselves to do that. And it takes a whole lot of trust in order to get to that space. And that's not easy to come by, right? I mean, we could do sexual activity for like the gymnastics of it or the activity of it, but that's not what we're talking about here. And I think most of you know what I'm talking about. So it really is about getting very deep within yourself and really looking at, and look, you guys may be doing that anyway because you have Saturn in your first house of self. So you're doing a lot of digging and a lot of reflection this year up until January for sure. And then we have temptation. So there may be something that's very tempting to you or for you, right? Having to do with relationship. So that could be somebody new if you're in a relationship. You may be in a space, sexual arts and temptation, being really honest. Are you getting, and I hate to say getting what you need because that almost sounds like selfish, right? And I don't mean for it to sound selfish, but are you having your needs met regarding intimacy? Is there communication, right? Is there openness? Is there honesty? If there's not, maybe you need to look at it. We have the sun, which is really nice, working with sexual arts and temptation. Well, it's the end of a temptation, so that's good. We have the Coffin when it comes to temptation. Let's pull some Island Time Wellness. So the Coffin energy is the ending of something, so that's a situation, so that you could be transformed in relationship. There's a release here. There's this release. So there's release and some sort of temptation to do something with a greater focus on really bringing yourself to where you're at one with yourself. You're just really peaceful with who you are, right? And that's really going to just kind of be a thing. And you want to be with somebody who allows you to feel that way, where you don't feel like you have to step up and be something other than anything or anyone other than who you are. We have Love Call, we have Mirror, we have the Golden Mirror, and we have the Chaser. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. So we have that. Interesting. So with the Sun, clarifying the Sun, we have Mirror. Mirroring each other, self-image, relationship reflects our wounds, introspection. Interesting, because the Sun is romance, right? Because the Sun rules Leo, even the Lenormand, right? I still get that very much as a 5th house vibe. So it's almost like you and someone that you either are with or were with, you had this idea, it's real 7th house energy as well, mirroring each other, right? The issues that you identified in them, you may also harbor some vulnerability or insecurity regarding that very same thing within yourself. Now we have the end of something here, and then we have Golden Mirror, which is self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, love bombing. Okay, so there's an ending to something. If there was some sort of energy that you were dealing with that had narcissistic tendencies, I'm not diagnosing anyone, I'm interpreting the cards, you know, more as an adjective, okay? So they might have those, you know, that kind of tendency, but where it was a one-sided relationship, right? Somebody who was very self-absorbed, that's over. I feel like you're dealing with something being over already. And then with the temptation, we have the Chaser, a chaser in a codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issues. So you may have been dealing with an energy who had abandonment issues, who felt very comfortable, and maybe they were the ones who dealt with the temptation as well. You may have felt like a very strange kind of pressure from this person. I feel like something having to do with, you know, if it didn't have to do with sexuality, it had to do with deep communication. However you guys connected on a soul level, right? Everybody's different ages and stages here in these readings. But I do feel like there was, you know, at the end of the day, you guys might have gotten along really well on the surface. You might get along really well on the surface. But there's something about the core of the relationship where there needs to be either better communication or more vulnerability exercised, I guess, is a good way of putting it. More vulnerability, and it's really hard to feel vulnerable with somebody that you identify as having narcissistic tendencies, because then they make it all about them, you know, and then you need to ask yourself, well, what is it about them that you have a hard time letting go of at the end of the day? You know, it's always the tough one. I mean, I kind of know what the answer to that is, but I don't want to make this video about that. It's thinking about, anyway. Let's pull Celtic Cross spread and see what we got. We have 6 of Cups. We have the Strength energy, 6 of Cups. Okay. Let me pull the cards, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm getting here. Okay. All right. I love that you got the 4 of Cups in reverse as the final outcome energy. Good. Very good. Just you have to go through a little process here. So we have coming into this energy regarding however you're resonating with, whether this is somebody from your past, somebody now, somebody that you're thinking about. 7 of Pentacle energy, no matter how you slice it, is nice, right? Because it's a hard-working energy. It's putting a lot of work into relationship, and it's being very patient and not wanting to give up on something. Even if something wasn't the easiest thing, you weren't running to give up on something. Now, you know, for some of you, look, general message, so I'm going to give a couple of interpretations. The 6 of Cups can certainly mean at least the desire, heavy on your mind, something. There's nostalgia here about the past. So for some of you, this could be the energy available to reconcile with somebody if you want to. If you don't, then don't, right? But this could be reconnecting with even an old friend who all of a sudden moves out of the friend space into the romantic space. But for many of you, if you've suffered mistreatment in the past in a relationship from someone from your past and they come back around, things can be remedied here. But only if things are handled in a certain way, because we have the strength energy here. So the strength really does indicate if your relationship was tested, things getting better, improving. But only if whatever imbalance seems to be going on here is addressed. Physical attraction can definitely serve to mask the deeper issues of what's being addressed here. I wouldn't be surprised, right, if that ended up being the case. Somebody needs their ego stroked here as well. And that could certainly fall within the sexual arts as well, because the ego is a very tricky thing. And again, I don't want to make this, I'm not looking to make the tarot read. Maybe I'm going to do some separate videos on the psychology of all of this, because I'm well studied in this area. But when we're talking about sexual arts, how do we fully expose ourselves if we don't allow our ego to be, and I'm not going to say placed on a shelf, but to be I'm going to say joined with us as one rather than working against us, right? And so when you have somebody who's got some sort of imbalance, who has some sort of maybe dysregulation, right, in their personality, right, there's this need to stroke the ego. There's this need for, more giving on one side. And therein lies the imbalance. So it is something to think about if you guys are in that space. We have the Knight of Pentacles as far as the situation goes, right, as the crowning energy. And the Knight of Pentacles is, it can be a very loyal and dependable energy, has a lot to offer. But Aquarius, they might be a bit boring and slow to share their feelings. But depending on what you're looking for, they could be your rock, but they may lack the excitement to capture your heart for the long term, right, in a really satisfying way. So it depends on what it is that you're looking for. But it seems like you're rather confused, right? Seven of Cups is all about confusion, choices and confusion, extremes, commitment issues as well. Like you're not sure what's real, what's not, so things can feel up in the air. But this does seem like you're at the beginning stages of something new. Either a new cycle, a new relationship, there's something new. And I feel like you know exactly what I'm talking about. And we have the Page of Pentacles here, really good again. This is really good for beginning some sort of new mental, physical, emotional connection and being willing to put in the hard work towards it. The energy surrounding you is the Ten of Swords. So this could be somebody external experiencing this and it's impacting you, or this is just the general energetic influence surrounding you. But it's about endings and there being a history here. So it's the finality in the release of something that releases you from frustration and stress that you've been feeling, even if it's painful. So this indicates at the end of a challenging time period so that you can grow and transform into a healthier energy with fresh eyes and a new mindset, which is really good. So I feel this sense of newness. Something new is kind of coming around the bend here. We have in your challenge and your block is the Nine of Cups. So the Nine of Cups is about maybe looking for quick results, having to do with relationship, somebody else having quick results. It's almost the kind of thing where it's like, okay, we're back together again. Everything's great. Let's go back to exactly where we were. That may not be the best strategy for those of you experiencing like this. Others of you, you just might be in the space where you really want to manifest a healthy relationship, but you're feeling challenged right now. Maybe because you're really busy doing other things at work and you're just really not meeting anybody that absolutely does it for you. But it does seem like you're definitely ready, many of you. For others of you, this can indicate going back to a past relationship. You might not be totally sure, if this is the right thing. There could be some confusion. But it could also be this energy of like, hey, come on, let's get right back to where we were. And you're being like, I don't think so, right? We have the Chariot in the near future in the reverse. So the Chariot reverse, listen, this is a kind of like going off the path for at least temporarily, right? When we have this reverse. So you want to be careful here because you might be dealing with arrogance, self-indulgence. This can manifest as a person spiraling out of control, again, going off the right path. Maybe you're dealing with egotism, right? I was just talking about that. Egotism, selfishness indicated here, you know. So a change in focus is needed, you know, just a change of focus. Some sort of issue with travel may come up for some of you as well. If you're looking to travel, like to see a partner or traveling together within the relationship, that's how that could manifest. But I like that we got the Four of Cups in the reverse as the final outcome, because this is about a new outlook and direction and a new option. So I just see there's a lot of raw looking out for yourself here. It's the best way for me to say it. And you looking at something really head on. How did somebody make you feel about you? How did they make you feel when it came to intimacy and communication and allowing you to feel vulnerable? Did they give you a good sort of groundwork so that you could come in and feel vulnerable? Was that there? You know, because if it wasn't, it looks like you're getting past something here. Looks like you're getting past something. But where there was mirroring in the relationship, you know? And that's okay. Listen, you have Saturn in your first. You have to know you're going to be doing a lot of growing now. You just are. You've been doing a lot of growing. You're going to continue to do a lot of growing for the next couple of years. You just are. And it's just the way. Really good, though. Don't look at that as a negative thing, for goodness sake. Because then, believe me, when Saturn leaves your first house itself and goes into your money sector, trust me, he leaves a nice big gift. All right. So let us talk about career. Let's see what we have going on in that sector. Wisdom of the Oracle. Let's see what kind of advice we get for career, money. Now, this is not only career, this is money. This could be an impending lawsuit, insurance payout, inheritance. Maybe you're retiring, buying a home, selling a home, property, the stock market, your partner's money, money that you get, anything having to do with that in your life right now. No place like home. Guys, really, I mean, I feel like a lot of you guys are working from home right now. But this could also be metaphorical home. Really feeling at home in what it is that you do. And the thing is, you're going to be asking that big question, right? With the full moon in Scorpio there, for goodness sake, of course. There's no way around it. What do you feel like you resonate the most with? But many of you are going to be working at home. Imagine, yes, this is about using a lot of imagination to move forward. If you imagine it, you have to be able to imagine it in order to manifest it, right? You have to be able to do that. So I like that. Let's see. Just want to work with this crowning the Hierophant energy. Really nice, guys, nice. So this is about progression forward in your work, decision, direction, whatever it is. You might even be dealing with somebody who's highly motivating for you to deal with. So that could be a mentor, somebody who's just really seasoned, you know, and they want to take you under their wing, or they want to teach you the ropes, anything like that. Really good. So we have the Empress reverse, and we have the Eight of Wands. Very nice. Ten of Wands reverse. That's good. Okay. We're dealing with a tricky energy here. So Ace of Cups is like a new offer coming in. So you may have been sort of vibing up to this point that you want to get into something new. Right, with the Ace of Cups. And then we have the Empress reverse. And, you know, the Empress is the mother of the tarot, so it's about growth and virility and the expansion, right? Think about what mother does. She gets pregnant, she nurtures, cultivates, right? And then, you know, gives birth, and then she does it again, right? The Empress just continuously does that. Straight up Venus. So Venus is a money planet. It's also about feeling like you're at one with something. You're comfortable. You're at home. You're in the right place, right? In the reverse, it could be like, you know, I feel like I'm not going to be able to grow in the way that I really want to. Or some of you may be even feeling like you're a little too dependent on somebody else when it comes to money, and it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you feel good. So we have this working with the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a great energy. Good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. This is great if you've been feeling held back or stuck waiting for a decision. Really good news for growth coming in. Really good. Then we have the crowning energy and the best to be achieved, the Ten of Wands in the reverse. This is about taking a break, finally saying no to something. No, I don't want to do that. feeling free. This is a freedom energy, lightening up, making a decision, and it just being like, oh yes, this is so much better. Not dealing with all of that nonsense. No, this feels way better for me. Now in the foundation, we do have a Seven of Swords energy. So there are several ways that we can actually interpret this energy. And, on its face, everybody runs to it's dishonest, it's immoral, it's, overstepping boundaries, being selfish. Now, you might be dealing with an energy like that. I'm not getting that this is you. How I'm getting that this would resonate with you is if you are dealing with somebody who's dishonest and immoral and running away from responsibilities or doing the right thing. Because again, this could also have to do with the dissolution of a marriage, my friends, right? Where there's some sort of like divorce agreement. This could have to do with if you're dealing with a dishonest family member, an immoral family member, if you're dealing with some sort of estate settlement, anything like that. It could even be a business partner. If you're dealing with somebody like that, you need your instincts and your wits about you to figure out the real truth of a situation, because you may need to play someone at their own game to find out what it is that you need to know. Okay? So that's for some of you. Others of you, you may be putting on a bit of a healthy mask in this energy. And I'm just saying this because of the other cards that I'm getting here, where not that you're looking for to be maliciously dishonest, but you're not looking to bite your nose off to spite your face. So you might be playing the game, doing what you have to do in order to make something work out in a way that's good for everyone, including you. So you follow what I'm saying? It's like you're doing what you have to do in the space of a situation so that you can have a positive outcome for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. So some of you may be in that space, having to do either with your career, financial situation, whatever it is, okay? So there's a couple of different ways that you may be experiencing that. So we have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which represents you and only you. So you want to be careful here, right? Understand, in order for you to make something happen, you're going to have to put the work in, right? There's no space for laziness, and there's no space for or energy for you to tolerate anyone's greed or for you to be greedy, right? And there's no such thing as quick results, because where you guys are going, you're going to need to have a very particular, I'm not going to say slow and steady wins the race, but kind of, right? And where you're in the planning phase. All right. Don't be too caught up with the clock right now. And I know that's hard to not feel like that when you really want things to move forward. It's like, come on, clock's moving forward, not backwards, not getting any younger here, kind of thing. But you want to make sure that you do your due diligence and understand that whatever you're really meant to move into, it's going to take some hard work, and it's going to take some more time for you to cultivate and lay that groundwork. That's all. We have the Nine of Wands in the reverse. The Nine of Wands in the reverse indicates having faith, all right? And not being alone in a situation, first of all, okay? Now, you might be in a space of defensiveness kind of surrounding you, or you might be dealing with somebody who's very paranoid. You might be dealing with somebody who's very defensive, having to do with some sort of financial situation, right? Could be. Your challenge in your block is Seven of Cups, which is about choices and confusion and commitment issues, but not because you don't want to commit to something, but because you're just not sure. You're not sure what's real, what's not. Things feel up in the air right now. You definitely feel like you're at the beginning stages of something, but you're like, I don't really know actually what that means, right? So really here, you're going to be finding clarity, and you're not going to allow yourself to be disillusioned at all. The illusion of something ends. You're going to have a restored sense of exactly what needs to be done and what's required in order to do it. I love it that we have the Sun in the near future. This is the best card in the deck. Whew, this is great. Success, really. I mean, having everything that you need to create exactly what it is that you want. So success in a position through which you can make more money, win that lawsuit, whatever it is, hiring that new lawyer, whatever it is, you getting much deserved acknowledgement. So really good success. So this is in the near future. Now we have the Three of Swords. The card of pain is the final outcome. And you're like, wait a minute, what? But this is truth. This is some sort of truth coming out. Something that you had been feeling really sad about. You might have been be feeling betrayed. You might have been feeling just dismissed, right? You might, again, all of that, depression, betrayed, pain of a truth, whatever it is, but the clouds of doubt and the clouds of confusion are going to be lifted. And all you're going to be able to do now is just move on from whatever it was that didn't work out and just start some really, really beautiful healing. And that's it. And at the end of the day, this is just moving away from something that wasn't working. So obviously you can feel the Three of Swords if you're dealing with the dissolution of a marriage and inheritance, because what's on the other side of that is somebody passing who you loved, right? Anything like that, right? The air is going to be cleared for you, which to me is ultimately a good thing. Now, I do want to say for some of you, I am also getting, though, things ultimately going well, right? We have the sun energy, and what I'm about to say, I feel like things would go well because we have the sun right before it, which is good health. But don't be surprised if you end up finding out that there might be a little something that needs mitigating, having to do with your heart, just to safeguard some sort of circulatory issue, blood pressure, angina, anything like that, a little AFib kind of thing going on. I don't see it being a big deal, but you may ultimately realize that you have to give some attention to that part of your life. Okay, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.